Hello to all my students and hello out there to YouTube. So today is part 2 of my lecture that I called You Are a Ghost. So if you are doing your notes, you can kind of pay attention to what that is. Speaking of notes, go ahead and get out your notebook, set that notebook up in the Cornell note style with the note-taking on the right, thinking on the left. And while they're doing that, YouTube, go ahead and hit like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you a thing to hit like. Go ahead and get that done. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up where we left off yesterday or last time, which is we're talking about why humanities is something that we study. We wrote this definition down last time. If you didn't get this definition, go ahead and get it in your notes. So humanities, these are studies intended to provide general knowledge and intellectual skills rather than occupational professional skills. So today we're going to go less than 20 minutes. Hey Siri, set a timer for 20 minutes. And
okay, 20 minutes and counting.
And so we'll and I will try to go less than that, but I get very excited, so it may end up being 20. So if you recall, we were talking about last time we talked about what is the humanities. The humanities are a very broad group of studies. We are going to focus our studies specifically to dance, music, and visual arts, but there are lots of other humanities, law and justice and language and theology and philosophy and literature. And yeah, there you go. So yeah. Why I got to take this class anyway? Well, so I will go ahead and concede to you that the humanities is not an occupational skill, and that when you go and apply for your career job, your knowledge of visual arts and sculpture and architecture and music and dance, it's not going to necessarily help you out on your job interview. I will concede that. Now, the broader humanities, and I will include, but it gets a little bit more ambiguous there. So, if your understanding of history and language and culture and all the other humanities, I'll start to elevate those a little bit more on the hierarchy of stuff you need to know. But the humanities they're not. So if you're applying for a job at your local factory where they make washing machines or cars or whatever, it's really not going to make a big difference how knowledgeable you are about music and culture to get that job. Again, I concede that. But the humanities do enrich us and ennoble us. And these skills, these pursuits are worthwhile no matter, just for their own intellectual purposes. So while I will concede that getting a job, and again, not just a factory job, any job, whether you want to be a doctor, as a doctor, is it important that you have critical and imaginative thinking about the issues that confront us as citizens? No, it's not. But it's not going to hurt. That will help you be a better doctor. Reasoned and open-minded discussion of basic values. If I'm getting heart surgery, do I need my doctor to be able to discuss basic values? And no, I need them to know how to fix my heart. It's a science. But this will certainly help that physician be better, no matter what you want to do, whether you want to be a banker. Reason and open-minded discussion of basic values. Who doesn't benefit from that? Understanding and appreciation the experiences of others. Who wouldn't benefit from that? So again, I will concede the point that understanding music and dance and literature and drama and visual arts and opera, fair. Your criticism of why I got to take this anyway, we're okay. I'm on your team. I understand what you're saying. But it also, these discussions and these ideas do enrich you and ennoble you, and that's a good thing. Understanding ways in which the issues that confront us now have been understood by others in other places, in other cultures, and other times, that's important. So, the humanities are a valuable thing for you to learn and know and do. It is not one of the STEM courses. It is not going to get you a $200,000 a year engineering job. It's not. But it certainly will make an engineer a better engineer to have an appreciation for culture and history. And so we get it. I hope that you are with me and that you understand what it is that I'm talking about when I say that the visual arts, the humanities, the performing arts, they are important. So I do want to bend your ear a little bit about these. It is not my intention to be political. Especially now. So if you're watching this video, this was made in August of 2020. 2020, the craziest year on record ever, right? Boy, if only there was a way that we could understand how other issues that confront us now have been. So this is a piece of artwork. It's a statue. It's a lunk of metal sitting on a lunk of stone, we'll call it. It's just a sculpture. However, the sculpture, this image, is more than just a lunk of metal. It is an idea. It contains things. It contains power. It contains emotion. It contains a culture's values and history. This lunk of metal and stone is more than just a lunk of metal and stone. And what the humanities does is it helps you comprehend and understand the world around you through metal and stone. So again, not going to be political, just want to kind of point things out to you. This is a statue of Robert E. Lee. A controversial figure in American history. So if you are watching this in another country and don't understand who Robert E. Lee and what's going on there, feel free to Google that up and quench your intellectual thirst. I just want to talk to you about this as a work of art, just an image. And I want to tie this into the idea that artwork has meaning and artwork has power. I can feel myself getting excited. And when I do this, I have a tendency to run long. I got to remember that I have another, where's my timer? I got to make sure that, I got 12 minutes. So this is just a lunk of metal that has been forged by the artist to contain ideas and emotion and context. That's what the humanities is. These symbols have power. Now, at this point, I'm just talking about this statue of this person. There's another artwork right over here to the side, and again, we'll use the word artwork liberally. Help me out and understand. When I'm looking at this image, this square of cloth, there's no difference really in this object and any other square of colored cloth that you can imagine. The Mona Lisa is a square with colors and shapes on it. That's what artwork is. So this image is just, it was designed, of course, as an artwork. It means something completely different. Well, it probably means something completely different now than it did when it was manufactured. This is the battle flag of the Confederate Army. And it was conceived as such with that, the saltire, that X shape and the stars and the colors. It's just shape, color, and line. That's what it is. Just like any other artwork that just like any painting or drawing. or not drawing, but it has meaning. So again, I'm going to kind of skip off of this pretty quickly because I don't want to get political, especially in the context of this class and current events. So I'm going to move on to a topic that is it's the same except for safer for mass consumption. So the idea that these images, this statue and this square of color and line and shape have meaning. I want you to let that kind of sink in a little bit. Don't forget, by the way, that you're taking notes. You're thinking over on the left side of your page. Those ideas that come into your head, those feelings, those thoughts, make sure you're recording those things in your notebook. So there are people who are literally fighting in the streets of America, of American cities, over these images. Literally fighting and dying in the streets of American cities because of these images and what they mean. They're just stone and metal and color and shape. That's all they are. But the artist that created them has built power and meaning and message and emotional context into these images. It's really amazing. I get excited. I hope I'm doing everything I can not to go long here. So I'm going to use this. This is a little safer ground for me to tread on, talk about, doesn't rankle feathers and get everybody excited. So this is a similar thing. It's just from another country. So we can talk about this a little bit more freely. This is a statue of a guy named Saddam Hussein. Now, if you're an elderly cat like me watching this, you know all about this. You might have watched it happen live on television. But if you're one of my high school students, you might not have any idea what this is. So in 2003, the United States military invades another sovereign nation, the nation of Iraq, with the intent of deposing this dude, Saddam Hussein. This statue is a 39-foot tall, it's big, 39-foot tall statue erected in 2002 to celebrate the 65th birthday of this leader of the country. So 1 year later, the American military invades Iraq and drives into the city of Baghdad, the capital city, and into this specific place. I hope I'm pronouncing it right, the Fortis Square. Forgive me if that's not correct. And so the military invades the country, and at the same time, the people of that country, the non-combatants, took to the streets. And what is the first thing that they did when they took to the streets is they started to pull down the artwork. All around the city of Baghdad, there were paintings, huge paintings of Saddam Hussein, and they started to pull those down, throw their shoes at the paintings, deface them, because these images have power. So this statue, this 39-foot tall statue, when the American military arrived in Fortis Square, there were already Iraqi citizens who were attempting to dismantle this statue with hammers, sledgehammers. So how much of this is a fabricated photo op and how much of it is genuine, I don't know. But we're just going to continue as if everything is genuine and on the up and up, and here we go. So this image, this statue of Saddam Hussein, just like the statue I showed you before, the American version, it contains power. The idea is present in that piece of metal. And so much so that when American military soldiers invaded this country and city, Iraqis started to dismantle this symbol of power, this statue. So the American military arrives, they see what's going on, and the American soldiers, the Marines, take a rope to attach to this to begin to pull this statue down. Now we get a whole nother layer of symbolism and meaning. So this photograph now becomes a piece of art that has power and meaning. American soldiers pulling down this statue while Iraqi citizens congregate below. So the layers of symbolism and meaning and power and emotion just pile up. It gets more. I'm getting excited. So they tie this winch and pulley, and they're pulling on the rope and pulling on the stuff. I'm going to say cables, whatever. They're pulling on it. And at some point during this process, I know this because I watched it live on TV, young people, an American Marine climbs up onto this statue with an American flag and puts the American flag over the face of Saddam Hussein. The symbolism, the emotion, the intellectual process, the art that's happening there. It's just a fabric square of color and shape. It's a red, white, and blue with stars and stripes on it. It's just a piece of fabric with shapes and colors on it, but it means something. And they take that symbol and put it over this hunk of metal, which is just a hunk of metal that means something. And by doing that, it means an entirely different thing. So I don't know this is what happened, but I bet this is what happened. Somewhere in Washington, D.C., in the depths of the Pentagon, some general was watching this unfold, just like I was on live television. And some general saw that U.S. Marine climb up that ladder and slap an American flag on this statue, and steam went out of his ears. He called, I can imagine within seconds, that general was on the phone, on the wire to the commanding unit of this unit and said, "You better get that American flag off of there right now." And they got the flag off quick. So the American flag was over the face of this statue for 5 minutes, maybe. And it was immediately pulled down, and an Iraqi flag was put back in its place over the top. So the symbolism and power of these images, it's earth shattering. It affects the global identity of this event for years. This is 17 years ago now. And this image still has power. That's what art does. It contains power and meaning. That's what the humanities do. That's why we discuss the things that we discuss. So it's I'll just finish up by saying this. How much time I got? 3 minutes. I'll finish up by saying this. The humanities is what it is. It's the study of visual art and music and dance and literature and philosophy and theology and all of the things that are intellectual pursuits. So in our conversations, whether they're here or in person, what we're going to be doing is I want to talk to you sort of symbolically and remembering of facts. Okay, fine. Do you need to remember that this is a 39-foot statue erected in 2002 to a 65-year-old Saddam Hussein? Who cares? I don't care. But the ideas that are present there, that's good stuff. I mean, it's really amazing. So So that's going to be it for today. Again, if you're a YouTuber, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you are a student of mine, don't forget to take those notes. Take care of yourself. Stay healthy. Wear a mask, especially around your elderly neighbors, relatives, friends. And hope to be seeing you in person very soon. And let's get this turned off. Boom.